Welcome to this presentation, which introduces you to Scottish higher education and explains some of the unique benefits of studying as an undergraduate in Scotland. My name's Luke and I work at the University of Edinburgh, but I'm also a graduate of the university too. I have a really good understanding of what makes Scottish universities stand out and just how fun studying here can be. Firstly, let me introduce Scotland, a country of contrasts with a very distinct and unique culture. Scotland is a truly awe-inspiring country, steeped in history and in heritage, but at the same time, a modern, progressive, and very welcoming country too. We're a country full of geographical contrasts as well, with large, lively, busy cities like Glasgow and Edinburgh, but with vast areas of remote countryside with stunning scenery to explore. We're a comparatively small country by number, with a friendly and diverse population of around 5.5 million. That's around 8.5% of the UK population. But we're comparatively large by area. We've got a third of the UK's land. That means we've got lots of space to enjoy, and we're not too densely packed in. Importantly, here in Scotland, we have our own parliament, which is responsible for our separate and quite distinct education system. At university, these differences are most pronounced at undergraduate level, and I'll talk about those in a few moments. Scotland is really well connected. It's easy to get around Scotland, but we're also welcome to major UK cities like Newcastle, Manchester, Leeds, Bristol, and London, whether by plane or by train. We've got several international airports, which means we're not just well connected with the rest of the UK, but with Europe and indeed the rest of the world. Despite being a relatively small country, Scotland is known internationally for its excellence in education. Scottish universities are truly some of the best in the world, and 5 of them feature in the Times Higher Education World's top 250 universities. And they're not just good teaching institutions too. Some of the most important and impactful research going on in the world right now is coming out of Scottish universities. According to the UK government's most recent Research Excellence Framework in 2014, every Scottish university is producing world-leading research in one or more of their subject areas. Between them, Scotland's universities offer over 4,000 different degree programmes at undergraduate level, and lots of them are really exciting, innovative degrees inspired by the world-leading and world-changing research going on within universities here. Graduates of Scottish universities also perform really well on the graduate employment market. And we believe that one reason graduates perform so well is because of our unique 4-year degree structure, which offers both breadth and depth to your learning, something which is prized by employers globally. Scotland has 9 higher education institutions. Let's introduce them very briefly. Edinburgh, Scotland's architecturally stunning capital, is home to 4 universities: the University of Edinburgh, Edinburgh Napier University, Heriot Watt, and Queen Margaret University. It's also where the Open University in Scotland is based. Glasgow, Scotland's largest and arguably liveliest city, hosts 3 universities: the University of Glasgow, Glasgow Caledonian, and Strathclyde University. It's also home to the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland and Glasgow School of Art. Scotland's other towns and cities have several universities between them. Stirling, just north of Edinburgh and Glasgow, has one, the University of Stirling, situated on a beautiful campus. North of that, Dundee has the University of Dundee and Abertay. Further north, the city of granite as it's known is Aberdeen, which has the University of Aberdeen and Robert Gordon University. And above that, Inverness, home to one of the many campuses belonging to the University of the Highlands and Islands. Lots of those universities have satellite campuses across the country, as far north as Orkney and as far west as the Isle of Lewis. There are also universities in smaller towns such as St Andrews on Scotland's east coast, home to Scotland's oldest university. Scotland's Rural College has bases right across the country. The great thing about these universities is that they're all totally unique, taking advantage of Scotland's varied environment, landscape and culture, which means you do have so much choice when looking at studying in Scotland. In Scotland, you can study in a large, bustling city or on a small, remote island. You can study at a specialist institution which offers around 10 very particular degrees, or a large generalist institution which offers hundreds of wildly different subjects. And you can study on a programme with as few as 5 other students, or in a programme with as many as 500 other students. Whatever and wherever you study, you'll meet people from all over the world who are drawn to Scotland for its culture and its heritage, and for its world-class universities. Most undergraduates in Scotland, unless they're studying specialist degrees like medicine, veterinary medicine, dentistry, and some teaching degrees, study for 4 years rather than 3. This is partly for historic reasons, as we originally based our system in the 15th and 16th centuries on the developing European model that originated out of Bologna in Italy. But there are so many advantages to studying for 4 years. Firstly, the structure is underpinned by breadth in your first and second years, with the option to choose from a range of outside courses in addition to your main subject, and by depth in your later years. You'll specialise in your main subject, choosing modules in the topics that interest you most. Your outside courses might be related to your main subject or might be totally different. Whatever you choose, it will give you the chance to explore new subjects and really discover where your strengths lie before you go on to specialise. You also don't need to choose what outside courses you take when you apply. You have time to decide when you first arrive at university. It might even be possible to switch your main degree entirely if you've done the right outside courses in your early years. This level of flexibility, though not totally unlimited, is really unparalleled when set against UK higher education generally. The 4 years also gives you space to enjoy a year abroad or a placement, usually in year 3, which adds a whole new dimension to your programme, and you learn so much more because of it. This then is a typical degree structure. It doesn't apply to professional degrees, but does apply to the vast majority of programmes on offer in Scotland. You'll arrive in your first year studying your main subject for around a third to half of your time. In addition, you'll study outside courses from across the humanities or social, physical, or natural sciences. Your choices at this stage are only really constrained by the range of subjects your university offers or by any prerequisite qualifications that may apply to certain scientific or heavily numerical disciplines. If you study a joint honours degree, the number of outside courses you can take will reduce accordingly. It's much the same in year 2. You might carry on your outside courses or choose new ones. These are your pre-honours years, and they don't count towards your final degree classification. In year 3, that's when you specialise in your main subject or subjects, taking core modules and choosing from a range of specialist modules according to what your interests are. In 4th year, it's the same again, but you'll spend a fair chunk of time completing an independent project or dissertation. These 2 years are the ones that count towards your overall degree mark. They're called your honours years. At that point, you'll graduate with an honours degree, usually a Bachelor of Science or a Bachelor of Arts, or a Master of Arts if you're studying at an ancient Scottish university. Either way, your degree will be exactly equivalent in status to any honours degree from any other UK university. Some universities offer advanced entry in art, design, science and engineering. You'll enter directly into your second year and may have some additional bridging modules to do. You'll then complete the programme as normal in 3 rather than 4 years, graduating with an honours degree. If you're studying certain science or engineering subjects, you may be able to undertake a 5-year integrated master's programme. Your first 3 years will be mostly the same, and you'll take a placement or year abroad in your 4th year. You'll return to complete a dissertation or project in your 5th year, graduating with your integrated master's. If you're studying a modern language, you'll usually study for 5 years for an honours degree at most Scottish universities, with a year abroad in your 4th year. But you'll study for 4 years if you're studying at the University of Edinburgh, with a year abroad in your 3rd year. The application process for Scottish universities is exactly the same as it is for other UK universities. You'll apply via the Universities and Colleges Admissions Service, that's UCAS, and you'll do so by the relevant deadline. You'll include your current and expected qualifications and grades, your personal statement, and academic reference. If you're applying for a degree accredited by a professional body in Scotland and you're hoping to get a job elsewhere in the UK upon graduation, check that the accreditation applies across jurisdictions and that you're aware of any caveats that may apply. But you don't need to worry if you're applying to medicine. These degrees are accredited in exactly the same way wherever it is you study. Levels of competition do vary between institutions. Check with the universities you're thinking of applying to see whether your qualifications and grades are suitable for entry. There are some misconceptions about studying in Scotland. For example, if you're an applicant coming from England, Wales, or Northern Ireland, you are not, solely by virtue of where you live, less likely to get an offer to study than a Scottish applicant. Levels of competition vary between fee groups, but you are only competing for places between others in your fee group. Tuition fee rates may vary between institutions. If you're applying to Scotland from the rest of the UK, some Scottish universities may waive or reduce the fees you pay in the fourth year of study. This does not apply to all Scottish universities or degree programmes. Check with the university you're applying to for more information about fees. To cover your tuition and living costs, you can apply to your local funding body. That's Student Finance England, Student Finance Wales, Student Finance Northern Ireland, or the Students' Awards Agency for Scotland, or SAS. Your funding body will give you exactly the same financial support wherever it is in the UK that you study. Scotland is a fantastic place to live and to learn. Scottish universities offer thousands of student societies between them, from academic societies to performing arts, volunteering and charitable societies, to weird and wonderful societies like Ultimate Frisbee and Muggle Quidditch Society. These are an excellent way to meet new friends, learn something new, and maybe boost your CV too. It's the same with sports. Universities offer the A to Z of sports clubs, from American football to windsurfing, with some slightly more unusual ones in between, like korfball, shinty, or orienteering. In fact, the four-year degree in Scotland affords you even more opportunity to enjoy student life and all that it has to offer. That's more chance to get involved with societies or sports clubs, study abroad, travel during the summer holidays, or pick up a job or an internship. To generally get some more experience under your belt so you're fully prepared for life after university and to make the most of the next chapter. If you use your time wisely, the four-year structure can be a way to maximize your chances of moving on to your chosen destination or career, whatever it is you want to do. That extra year also means you have enough time to sample all that Scottish life has to offer. Scotland has such a lively cosmopolitan culture and a thriving arts and music scene. Every year it hosts 350 festivals, including the largest performing arts festival in the world, the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. It's home to the world's first UNESCO City of Literature, Edinburgh, a UNESCO City of Design, that's Dundee, and to Glasgow, a UNESCO City of Music, with 100 different music events every week on average. In the cities, you're never far from a free gallery or museum, a comedy night or a poetry slam, a quiz or a ceilidh. Scottish towns and cities are consistently voted as some of the best in the world to live. They've got plenty of green space, are handy to get around and easy to get out of. So even if you're coming from afar, you'll be well connected to home. On the islands, you're never far from an ancient monument, Neolithic village, abandoned castle, or some of the most magnificent beaches in the world. In the Highlands, there's always a walk to be trod, stunning view to be Instagrammed, or a whiskey distillery to tour. With over 800 offshore islands and 300 castles to visit, 2 national parks to get lost in, and 282 Munros to climb, you will never run out of new places to discover. If you study in Scotland, no matter which university you go to, you get the chance to explore a new culture, which broadens your horizons and opens new doors, but you'll feel at home straight away. So, wherever you're from, if you're someone who embraces new experiences, makes the most of the opportunity life throws at you, and wants to study at a world-class university in one of the most beautiful and culturally rich countries, then Scotland quite simply offers everything you need to have an amazing time at university.